Hi everyone. The topic I'm going to talk about is 3 steps to figure out each history event. My name is Dennis. Take a look at this image first. Do you know what it is? No? Yes. I believe most of you, it's very normal to think that it's a black and white photo. It's just a period of history and it looks very boring to understand the background behind it. Yes, it's very normal to think of that way. But if you are willing to think of another way, try to understand the background behind it as much as possible you can, you will view this image as a vivid, colorful, and alive photo. And now, I would like to use this example to tell you how to make this kind of history, event, image, colorful, and deeply memorize it in your brain. 3 steps in orders are reading the detailed books, browsing the internet information, and sharing with your own words. The first step is read the books. Books are always the beginning of learning everything. Learning history is no exception. Why? Because each story has 3 main components: beginning, middle process, and conclusion. And however, each book has complete records. You can not only find the complete papers inside, but also the photos, nearby sentences inside. So for this example, according to this book, this story was from December 7th, 1941, and was held in Hawaii's harbor, Oahu Island. And what happened? Some of American fleets were destroyed by Japanese bombard. And then, how the Americans react? The United States formally declared war on Japan. As you see, these are what the books. Books are undoubtedly invaluable treasure. You will get so much knowledge at the very first time in your brain. On the other hand, browsing the internet information is the second step. Because after you get so much knowledge from the books you've read, you probably will think that it's too simple, and you must think, oh my God, things inside books are very abstract, and you just read many sentences over and over again. And probably there are some questions inside, and you don't know how to solve. But don't forget the internet. At that time, it's time to use it. For this example, the place where this image happened is in Pearl Harbor. So if you want to know the exact position of Pearl Harbor, as you see from the Earth map, Pearl Harbor is in Oahu Island, and the Pearl Harbor is in the northwest of the Honolulu International Airport. And besides, the short videos online can also help you return to the situations. Anyway, take a look at for just 1 minute because time is limited. And after my speech, I would like you to take a look at for video.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
This event single-handedly spurred the United States into joining World War II. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be learning more about the attack on Pearl Harbor. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor was the culmination of 2 decades of friction that existed between those countries. Japan's increased efforts at expanding its territory created even more tension with major Western countries like the US, France, and Britain. An attack on China by Japan in 1937 was criticized by many members of the League of Nations and illustrated the Asian country's military might and readiness to use it. After World War II had started, efforts to deter Japan proved ineffective, and on September 27, 1940, the country signed the Tripartite Act to form the Axis powers with Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy, and gain even more power. This proved a direct threat to the United States, as
Therefore, when you solve those questions through internet, you will have clear thoughts about that original image before. This is why browsing the internet information is a second step. After understanding the background and stories behind each of history event, the final step is to share with your own words. Because everything you know is just a concept and impression in your mind. You have to arrange all the key points inside your web before speaking. For this example, these are my descriptions about the image. The story was from December 7th, 1941, happened in Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is situated in one of the Hawaii states, Oahu Island, and Pearl Harbor is in the northwest of the Honolulu International Airport. At that time, Japanese were afraid of American fleets in Hawaii. They aimed to eliminate parts of the American Navy, especially aircraft carrier. So they decided to attack one of the most important bases, Pearl Harbor. After twice Japanese attack, Americans cannot forgive Japanese. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, President of the United States, formally declared war on Japan. This story was why two countries started to fight with each other. So, in other words, when you tell a story to somebody with your own words and they understand what you said, that means you completely understood it. Okay, right now, after using 3 steps I have mentioned above, including reading the detailed books, browsing the internet information, and sharing with your own words, this image will become colorful and alive in your mind. Because you believe that why this photo can be existed right now. Not involving black and white photo in your brain. So follow these 3 steps. I think all of the history event will catch your interest over time. Thank you. And right now, I would like to take a look at the whole video.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
This event single-handedly spurred the United States into joining World War II. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be learning more about the attack on Pearl Harbor. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor was the culmination of 2 decades of friction that existed between those countries. Japan's increased efforts at expanding its territory created even more tension with major Western countries like the US, France, and Britain. An attack on China by Japan in 1937 was criticized by many members of the League of Nations and illustrated the Asian country's military might and readiness to use it. After World War II had started, efforts to deter Japan proved ineffective, and on September 27, 1940, the country signed the Tripartite Act to form the Axis powers with Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy, and gain even more power. This proved a direct threat to the United States, as the country was now in danger of attack on both its coasts. The US made steps to prepare for war, but remained neutral. Japan continued their invasion through Indochina in 1940 and 41. Meanwhile, the United States tried to halt their progress by banning exports to the country, most importantly oil and raw materials, closing shipping lanes to their use, and other such tactics. Japan desperately needed US oil, but the Americans demanded they leave China. Japan refused and decided swift military action was their only option. Negotiations finally stalled, and on December 1, 1941, Japan officially approved war against the US, Great Britain, and Holland. It was to begin with an attack to neutralize the US Pacific Fleet in Pearl Harbor on Hawaii's Oahu Island. Japan hoped to take control of Southeast Asia without being impeded, and the attack was meant to accomplish this while also crushing American morale and neutralizing the US so Japan could expand their conquests elsewhere. Battle began before Japan had formally declared war on the United States, making it a surprise attack. This left the Americans unprepared and scrambling to defend themselves. The attack took place in 2 waves, coming from both the air and the water. The first wave began just before 8 a.m. on December 7th, with the second coming an hour later. Though the attack only lasted 2 hours, by the time it was over, almost every American plane had been damaged, as had a number of other military crafts. 2 battleships, the USS Oklahoma and the USS Arizona, were completely destroyed. In fact, the Arizona remains underwater in Pearl Harbor as a memorial to honor those lost in the battle. The death toll of this attack reached over 2,300, including military personnel and civilians. Just 1 day later, the United States officially entered World War II, marking a turning point in this historic conflict.
The American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.